Hello. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, give everybody a minute to join on in. It is Make New Friends Friday. So my name is Evelyn. I am the maker, creator, designer behind Pink Sheep Design. And every Friday I go live here on Instagram with other makers to talk about their experience in the crochet and knitting world, in the fiber universe, the fiberverse. Is that a thing? But we chat about their journey, what inspires them, their place in the community. So I've talked to some makers who are hook makers, some crochet designers, some people who create other things in the crochet world, like tags and labels and things for people to use during craft shows. It's a huge variety of people, and today I'm actually getting to talk to someone who truly is a crochet hobbyist. So this is not someone who focuses on designing or making money using their crochet. This is someone who has a full-time job that they love and crochets as a hobby, as something fun and relaxing. And this is also someone who is making some really amazing and funny reels, which is the hot topic for a lot of people right now who are on Instagram, because some people find it easy to make reels and have fun with it, and some people don't. Some people it's difficult and it takes a lot of time. And if you are someone who's trying to make money with your crochet or your business here on Instagram, I think it's always great to get insight from people who are doing it really well, who are making reels that are, going viral and being enjoyed by a lot of people and are very relatable and fun. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Before I bring her on, and this is going to be Jaylee of Two Arrows Handmade. So I'm super excited to have her joining me today, and I'm going to bring her on in just a minute. But I wanted to make an announcement because we have super big news, and it'll probably get its own announcement, and I just posted a reel about it. But as you guys probably know, we make handmade 3D printed crochet hooks in jumbo sizes, so 10 millimeter and up. And we have made the decision to start making some hybrid Pink Sheep design crochet hooks for your smaller hooks, for people who have been asking. So I'm going to show you guys really quick. First time getting to show these off. This is the signature style of the Pink Sheep hook. So you've got your handle right here. And we have right now we're starting with the tapered boy hooks. This is an 8 millimeter hook and handle, but these are live in our Etsy shop. So we're super excited. I don't know how long they're going to last because we didn't do a crazy huge release. This is another color that's available in the Etsy shop. It's like a silky green and gold. But these are available now, and we're so excited to welcome a new product to the family. And these are ready to go. So go check them out. These are also really quick uncoated hooks. We do plan to offer resin coated hybrid hooks as well in the future, but right now these are a great price point. We're doing 25 bucks a piece on these, which is definitely more entry level, affordable compared to our premium hooks. So check them out. And yes, Love Crochet asked about inline hooks. That is in the plan, but we had to start somewhere. So they'll take two whole different files for these versus the inline. So we're taking our time, moving through it, but starting somewhere. So these are out now. So with that out of the way, I am going to bring Jaylee on me through the through the Pink Sheep ad. Let's see. There she is.
Hello. Hello.
Oh.
How are you?
How are you? Oh, good, good.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for sticking through the little ad. We did not plan on, it was also last minute. It was one of those things where we're like, we just need to do this. We just need to do it. So we went and like bought out 4 different Walmarts of all of their boy hook packs.
I love it. I'm a boy girl myself, so I prefer boy over Bates.
That's so interesting because so all of our jumbo hooks are inline. And
Hmm.
I've heard from some people that the for larger yarn, they do tend to like the inline
Right.
style with a larger yarn, which makes sense. But it was funny because my husband was like, why would anyone not use inline? Because I mean, he doesn't crochet, but like that's all we
Right.
make, and
Yeah.
people have given us good feedback. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do a reel and I'm going to ask people, and you're going to see that it's pretty split. I mean, and it
Really?
was.
Maybe it's like a Coke Pepsi type situation.
I think so. But
One
there
or the
are
other.
people, yeah, it's either one or the other, or they say depends on the yarn.
Hmm.
So it was a
Like,
huge variety of answers.
I feel like the inline ones, is that what they're called? I didn't even
Hmm.
realize that. I just thought she like had her own little thing. But I feel like the edge is so sharp that sometimes it separates if
Yes,
like the
heard that
different
too.
yarns.
Hmm. Yeah, so I've heard that, and I do feel like the Susan Bates brand is pretty sharp. Um, I only have a few, but like Furls is in line.
Okay.
And I
See,
like
I haven't
theirs.
tried those. I need to.
Yeah, and so let me show you too. This was interesting. These two in particular, because I deal in jumbo hooks,
Yes, you do.
right? So this is like the good old blue that
Mm-hmm.
most people they want to make a chunky blanket, and this is what's at the craft store.
Right.
And so this one would actually be almost an inline tapered combo because the
Mm-hmm.
inline hook is supposed to be in line with, like, if you placed something against this,
Right.
this part's not going to be out as far. But this almost has some inlineness to it, but
Right.
it's you can't set something right up against that. This does poke out further. So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting when you really start looking of like, oh,
I've
okay.
never even put thought into it. I'm just like, oh, this one's a little bit more roundier. I like
Yeah.
that.
And it's so true when you really, and I don't think I would know this much about them if I wasn't designing
Mm-hmm. I
them.
love it. Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like I
So,
just learned so much.
yes, see, here we are.
Yes.
So, what are you working on today?
Sorry, I keep looking down. I have
No, I want to know. I want
been,
to know. We want to share. This is show and tell.
I got this book in the
Ooh.
mail. I love it. It's by Lauren Espy, who's a menagerie of stitches. And I am making like book buddies for my classroom because I'm an elementary school teacher moving to
Mhm.
kindergarten this year. So I'm like making little buddies. So this is the wing,
Oh
like
my
the
God.
little owl. This is my
Are they
third
getting
one
to
of.
like hold them? Like, what's the purpose?
I'm thinking that they'll either read with them or
Hmm.
a lot of kids just like having a stuffed animal. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking like a positive behavior incentive is they could be like their little desk buddy and just sit on their
Yeah.
desk for the whole day.
Oh my
I feel like that would
gosh.
be so cool. I would love that as a kid. I like had little pencil toppers and I would like talk to them. I
Yeah.
was a weird kid. I mean, I'm a weird adult, so it only fits, right?
So that's the perfect kind of segue to talk a little bit about the fact that you are the first person, I believe the first person I've brought on who is not specifically focused on making money with their crochet. So
Right.
either, going regularly to craft shows or, even if it's a side hustle, but
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of this incentive of like, I crochet to make money if it's, selling my stuff or if I'm a designer. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that journey, and I'll ask questions along the way. Don't worry, it's not putting you on the spot.
Yeah, for sure.
But what has that looked like for you, and the fact that you love your job?
Right. Yes. So I am a teacher and I decided I wanted to be a teacher when I was in second grade.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
ever since then, that's like been the thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm growing up and I'm going to be a teacher. When I'm a teacher, I'm going to do this. Like that's my mindset my whole life. So then now that I'm here, I I learned how to crochet in high school. I
Hmm.
was with my high school boyfriend at his grandparents' house for Christmas or something, and we were just chilling on the couch, and his mom and sister were crocheting, and I was like, that's cool. And so they taught me how to do that. And so that was my knowledge. So then
In an afternoon. So can
in
I
an
get this straight?
afternoon,
Like, so you were just there for like, you weren't sleeping over for Christmas. It was high
no,
school. Like,
right. Yeah, it was
so
just
that's
an
quick
afternoon.
learner, quick
Oh,
learner.
well, I didn't I didn't master the straight line. I just kept
Yeah.
going and it like
Yeah.
curled in on itself and I'm like, "Oh, I
Uh-huh.
made a Barbie shoe." Like,
Yeah.
cool. Like, I don't know. I probably threw it away. I was really embarrassed. But so that was my knowledge of crochet. So then in college, my best friend, she had a baby and I was like, I want to like make stuff. So I was on
Mm-hmm.
Pinterest and I was like, holy crap, you can like crochet baby shoes. Like
Yeah.
that was mind blowing to me. I didn't know that you had to like change hook sizes. So I'm like, I need to go to the store. I need to get yarn. I need to get a hook. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm like trying to figure out like chain. Okay. Like I had
Yeah.
only had that verbal lesson. I'd never seen
Mm-hmm.
anything written down. I didn't know there was like a code to this stuff, you know? So
Secret
then,
code.
right. So then I like make this humongous like baby shoe and I'm like, I made them. And she's
Ah.
like, cute. Oh, sorry. I just
Yeah.
realized that some of these people are saying words too. Hello. Um,
Yes.
okay, sorry. This is like my first live. I've got like, I don't know,
Woohoo.
so many things going on.
Yeah.
So then I was like, this is pretty fun. And so then I just kept doing that. And I was on Instagram and I came across Sierra Crafty
Mm-hmm.
Creations.
Yes.
And she had designed a sweater with like shoulder cutouts. And I was like, oh
Ooh.
my gosh, she made that. Like, that's
Yeah.
trendy. That's cute. Yes.
Yeah.
And so she was saying, like, pattern testers. And I was like, I don't really know what that is, but I think like you get the pattern. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I commented on there like I knew what I was doing. I was like, let me
Yeah.
know if you need more testers. And I was
Yeah.
like giggling about it with my husband, like, I'm talking to crochet people. And so then she messaged me and was like, I actually do like need
Yeah.
somebody. I had someone fall through. I was like, oh my gosh, I'll do it. So I like dropped everything in my life. I
Yeah.
had a newborn baby, so she just like slept by me and I was like going to town. She's like, can you do this in 2 weeks? I'm like, I have no idea, probably. I'm
Yeah.
like going for it. And like
Let me check how much coffee I've got in the cupboard. Give me just
right,
a second.
exactly. I was like, drink make new skein. And
Pet the
so then
baby.
yes, exactly. So I got that done and I was like, oh my gosh, you can make clothes, this is so cool. I'm like posting
Yeah.
pictures like, hey friends and family, look what I made. And they're
Yeah.
like, cool, like good for
Yeah.
you. You just had a baby, why are you making a sweater? And I'm like, mind your own business. And so eventually I kept finding patterns and I
Uh-huh.
liked that and I was like, wait, I could like do this. I could like make
Yeah.
something. So I
Yeah.
decided I wanted to try to make like a cardigan. And so my first pattern is the Copeland Cardigan, which I actually do still sell in my Etsy
Mm-hmm.
shop. And it had like triangle like hole design on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know, like the negative spaces created like a
Yeah.
little design. And so I made that and I like found testers, like completely
Mm-hmm.
faking my way through. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like talking to Sierra, who
Yeah.
I had gotten in contact with for the first pattern, and we've been in contact ever since. And so I'm just like pretending I know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do sizes or anything. I'm just doing it. And it worked out pretty well. So I ended up probably designing like 4 or 5 different
Mm-hmm.
garments, clothing
Yeah.
items. I would make it for myself and then
Mm-hmm.
do my sizes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm usually a medium, so I'll make one a little bit smaller,
Mm-hmm.
one a little bit bigger, that kind of situation. And I liked it, but then it got to the point to where I didn't like it anymore. Like
Yeah.
it just seemed so exhausting. Like you'd
Yeah.
finish a pattern and I'm like, okay, I'm done. But then I have this really great idea, but then I might as well like go ahead and write everything out and make it a
Yeah.
design. And so instead of like making clothes for myself or like design, sorry, I just saw my mom got on here. Hi, Mom. And I'm at her house, so
Hey,
I'm like in the
Mom.
backyard, and she's like right there. I told her she wasn't allowed to come out here, so maybe that's why. Um, I forgot where I was at. So I like still wanted to make clothes and stuff for myself, but I didn't want to go through the whole pattern process again because it just wasn't, I don't know, I was still working. I'm a mom, and the older the kids get, the busier you get. And then there's another kid. So I've got 2 kids, and I love them
There's
to
another
death,
one.
right? There's another one. Throw that in the mixture. Why not? And so I just got a lot going on. And at the end of the day, that's not what I want to do. You know what I mean? I just want to sit and chill and crochet. And that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like before Reels happened, like I kind of quit designing clothes and patterns and promoting them. And I just kind of made stuff for myself. But I'm like not very good at photography. And so I feel like I didn't do very well. Like my pictures weren't aesthetic. I didn't want to invest in all these nice equipment for like taking pictures of what I crocheted. You know what I mean? It's not like I was even taking photographs for a hobby. So I don't know. I couldn't see that as a good investment for myself. So then when it shifted after the pandemic to Reels, I was like, hey, I can do that. I can be a goober for 5 seconds and share that. And so I did that. And I feel like that's before Reels. I think I had like 5,000 followers. And then I just kept making Reels, and I feel like that's kind of where Instagram's trying to go. So I feel like that's what they promoted, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So yeah, I feel like I just said a whole lot of words.
Yes, and I'm going to go through the comments to make sure, because I think we did have a few that were good.
Perfect.
Amy Greenlong said my mom had mini Ammies that whoever was holding it was their turn to read.
I love
And
that.
she made hats every Christmas for her class too. So I thought that was a fun one to share.
I love that. And I could totally like whip up like 20 little hats for sure. They got little noggins.
Be Outrageous says, hey, Jaylee.
Hi.
Let's see. I stopped it at that other one, so there may not be any, but I wanted to check because we did go through a lot of info.
Hi, Fran from New Jersey. Sorry, I just said so many words.
Oh, no, you're good. And so everyone who's listening too, if you can put your questions and comments in the question box. So if you click on the very bottom right, there's a little speech bubble with a little question mark. If you put them there, then I don't have to scroll through to find them, and I can just check every now and then. So you can put those there as well. And I know StoryKnit says, I love that you are doing your own thing for you. You already have a full-time job and a family, etc. That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, so I like to stay home and just chill. And I like to read, and I like to watch like podcasts on YouTube, and I like to crochet. And I feel like crochet and podcasts take up most of the time because I can do those both at the same time. And I do like audiobooks, but I like to hold a good book. You know what I mean?
Yes. I like to smell books. Some people smell the yarn. I smell books.
A used bookstore, like whip me up a candle, please.
Yes.
I just inhales aggressively.
This definitely also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the crochet community because there's something really interesting about what you said where you were designing. So obviously you're going to be selling your stuff. You're going to be posting because people need to go buy my stuff,
Look, I made this up. Go make it.
Yes. And when you stopped designing, you were still making stuff for yourself and you still want to share it. So I would love to talk a little bit about what does being a part of that community mean, and what has that looked like, switching from feeling like a part of the community, because I'm a designer. If you're a designer, you're definitely a part of the community. But for someone who's, and a lot of people listening who I just crochet as a hobby and it's fun, but I want to be a part of this community and share my stuff. What has that felt like for you and looked like for you?
I feel like it's kind of a really weird area because I'm designing things that maybe other people might like, and they're like, is there a pattern? Is there going to be a pattern? And I'm like, no, probably
Yeah.
not. But I'm also not good at telling people no, so I'm like, maybe eventually. Like, that's my way of saying no. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of awkward because then it's just like show and tell that no one asked for, like, look what I
Yeah.
made, and they're like, cool,
Yeah.
what about it? And I'm like, literally nothing, just look, I
Ah, yeah.
guess. So then if you make reels, you can wear it and make
Yes.
a reel, and then it's kind of like, look, oh my gosh, that girl's wearing something crocheted, so it'll like get attention of those people, but then also it's not like, I don't know, not like, look at this thing you can't make. And
Yeah.
then it's weird because then I'm posting like an idea and I'm
Yeah.
not going to make a pattern for it. What if someone else makes pattern for it? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's just like a little intellectual bubble floating around that's
It's like,
like,
how do I really
you
feel
can't
about that?
touch it. I don't know. I don't know. Are you
Yeah.
allowed to be like, no, that's my idea that I'm never going to make? How dare you? I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
I didn't even think about that. That's really true. So how
Because
is
if
that?
that
Do
happened,
you?
you'd be so mad. But then at the same
Yeah.
time, sorry, I just cut you off.
No, and I think there's always a delay on these, so I'm like cutting everybody off always. Um, I feel like some of it too, because do you freehand the majority of your stuff? That was something I didn't even think to ask you. Do you not follow patterns usually, or do you just like to
No.
freehand?
Yeah, I just occasionally I'll like draw a picture, and like I've
Yeah.
made enough patterns and I've pattern tested a whole lot. Like before I
Hmm.
designed my own, it wasn't Sierra straight to designing. I had like pattern tested for, I could like do a whole bunch of name drops real quick. Like
Yeah.
Woods and Wool, Melissa.
Hmm.
I did I say I'm gonna name drop and then forget everyone's name.
Yes.
That's really fun.
Forget
Haley
Instagram names all
Bailey.
the time.
Haley
Yes.
Bailey's incredible. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yesenia,
Uh-huh.
this is my first time doing a curling iron in like a hot minute.
It looks nice. I like
Thank
it.
you. I forgot the first time. I was doing it upside down and I was like, hold up,
Yeah.
that's wrong. Okay,
I
sorry.
brushed mine today, but it didn't even look like it. So, it's.
No, you've got like the beautiful mermaid. Like, I didn't try, but look at my luscious hair.
I have the kind that like waves where I don't want it to wave. I'm like, can you just choose if you just want to be straight? Because the rest of it's straight. And I get these little like,
Right. It's
you know,
zigging where you want it to zag, you know?
you know, bring out the straightening iron and feel like I'm in high school again.
Yes, exactly. I forgot where I was at.
Name dropping
Oh, name dropping. Oh yeah, Haley Bailey. I was
with no names.
with no names. Like a whole bunch of cool people that I could probably tell you about sometime. Yeah, but so I did a whole bunch of pattern testing for people and I really liked that. So I kind of got the idea of like, okay, this is how you increase, this is how you decrease, and this is
Mhm.
what a square is, and you could
Yes.
figure out your body made based off that. So then I pretty much just like crochet, hold it up to my body. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, it looks like it fits pretty well. And like, it's pretty 50-50 of it working out. But
Yeah.
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 And then I don't frog it. I'm like, this is dead to me. It goes in timeout until I need yarn again. I just make a new
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like, you're
and
dead
that
to me.
somebody asked if you tested ever for Happily Hooked magazine.
No,
Yeah.
I
And,
have not. No.
and I've met a very few people that test for them. I'm not even sure how that works, like
It
how
seems
you
like
would
a
test them.
cool
I've
little
submitted
gig.
patterns. I've
Yeah.
submitted patterns to Happily Hooked, but I haven't ever seen for testing, so that's interesting. Um, I think Haley Bailey's on my list to try to bring on here,
She would be
and
incredible.
a few more. But that's what it's now. It's like I'm doing it every Friday, and so far I haven't run out of people. So I'm like,
Right?
well, keep it going. This is fun.
I feel like every single person is so interesting, and we've all come to like a similar point at different parts of our lives, and it's just like cool to see how everyone got there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about your experience, because you went to Our Maker Life. Was that
Yep.
right?
No,
Yeah.
I've gone to
What was it?
two maker retreats that
Maker
were,
retreats.
yes, they were
And
put on by Sierra as well.
so talk about your experience on a maker retreat and what that was like for you.
Okay, they were so cool. So I live in Missouri, and like I think all the yarn stores I have are like Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby.
Mhm.
Like that's the trifecta, and then Walmart too.
Yeah.
And so there's not any like local yarn stores. Like if there is, it's only for a couple months. It doesn't last very long. So I feel like there's
Mhm.
not really, like I didn't know a whole lot before I really dug into it. So then going to a place where other people were like crocheters, and we talked about how writing patterns, you learn like the lingo, like those people spoke the lingo. I could like,
Mhm.
they were picking up what I was putting down, you know what I mean? And so it was so cool. I was just like sitting there like, holy crap, these people are like me. We're all just like
Yeah.
making stuff. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And so then that was the first one. And Melissa from Woods and Wool was there. And she was one of the people that I had pattern tested for, but she was just like so cool. And then Tony from TL Yarn Crafts was there,
Mhm.
and like so many amazing, like, I don't know, to me, they're like Instagram celebrities, you know,
Yeah.
like crochet Instagram celebrities, if that's a genre. I was like, that's them.
I'm
So
pretty
I
sure
was
it
like starstruck.
is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then the second one came around, and all those same people, well, not Melissa, but Jessica from the Hook Nook was there, and Lee
Mhm.
from Coco Lee Crochet was there. Tony was there
Mhm.
again, and like just so many people. And it was just so incredible to hear all these people talk about how they were able to like monetize their craft, and they were in a job that they didn't like, and they
Mhm.
like turned it around to where they were like making money doing what they loved. And so like hearing all those people talk about that, it was like so amazing. But then at the same time, I felt, I feel like that was kind of my transition of like no longer really designing anymore, because I'm like, I don't relate. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
people are like, you can start a book. Oh, and so was Ashley from Crafty Concept was there too. She's so
Mhm.
awesome. Sorry, I keep remembering people that were there. And but all these people were like talking about making a blog, and
Mhm.
photography secrets, yarn dyeing, and all these different workshops of how to like different puzzle pieces to create a successful online business. But then
Mhm.
I'm just like, that's amazing, that's incredible, but I still want to be a teacher. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I still look forward to that. That's what makes me so happy. So then I like couldn't relate. So then I was like, oh, maybe I'm not gonna be like a crochet designer person. I'm just gonna like make stuff and share it when I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of reeled back a little bit before reels. I did not mean to be
Yeah.
punny right there.
But you were.
I was. It comes natural. What can I say? I'm cheesy.
Well, and I think that was one of the reasons why I was really excited to have you on, because I don't feel like that I've done enough of that, of bringing people on who it's like, I just like the craft. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a crafty person. I like to crochet, but maybe I don't want to be a designer or be a blogger, or I just want to crochet cool stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that
Still
actually brings
wear
me,
it. Yeah.
someone asked, Teddy, I like this name, Teddy Wigglesbottom.
Oh,
Uh, have you thought of a tutorial on YouTube explaining it without having to write a pattern? And I have a feeling I know the answer, because like that's still a lot of work.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't even know how to YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've I've got my iPhone. I could, I
Mhm.
don't know, edit together some videos. I did have to make a YouTube video when during the pandemic. I made little YouTube video math lessons, and that was tragic.
Oh,
I sent it to
yeah.
the families, and they're like, that was weird. I'm not an
Yeah.
online teacher, let me tell you that.
Well, and I think it too, some of the problem is I feel like it's gotten a little intimidating to jump into the pattern world or stay in the pattern designing world, because there's a lot of pressure put on designers to make the patterns more and more and more of like size inclusive. If you're not making them extra small to 5X, people are gonna say, why aren't you making more sizes?
Right.
And that's, learning the math for making sure that the sizes aren't just a little smaller or a little bigger, that they're actually based on true measurements. And then there are people who say, well, even though you're making it extra, extra small to 5X, you don't have the actual measurements of people listed,
Right.
or, why aren't you highlighting every single size in a different color because that's more accessible? And each of those things makes creating that pattern more and more and more difficult. And then the designers say, what if I put this out and I don't sell any? And then I've put in months of time with
Right.
testing and, making the pattern aesthetically pleasing. You have to really still have a good, solid reason for wanting to do it and enjoy it, or it's not going to last.
Exactly. And then you put hours and months and all this work and listening to everyone to put that into your pattern. So then you almost want to like, well, I've put more work into it. You want to up the pattern price,
Mm-hmm.
and then no one wants to pay it. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I was listening to you guys saying what you wanted, and yeah, you know what I mean?
It's tough. It's
And I
tough.
feel like there's a way to do it, and some people do it so successfully, but I just didn't have the drive to want to figure it out, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when it comes to like toward the end of my pattern writing days, RIP, I kind of got, I don't want to say lazy, but I did get lazy to where I would do it like measure yourself.
Yeah.
And then after you do the math to figure out your stitches per
Yeah.
line, then this is what you do. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then that's more work for the person who's buying your pattern, that they
Mm-hmm.
just want to sit and crochet and you tell them
Yeah.
to do 47 and it's 47
Yes.
instead of, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I guess that would be like more of a free pattern approach, but I didn't have like a blog or anything.
Yeah. And didn't want to start one. I mean,
Right.
that's a lot of work on top of it.
I don't even know how I Google how to start blog. I don't know, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I'm doing my first made to measure pattern. And the issue that I have with it, it's great when it's like, it's for a, you know, um, dress style overall pattern. So like that kind of thing. Bodies are so different
Oh
that
my
like,
gosh. Not only this way, but now you're going
uh-huh,
this way,
uh-huh.
and then there's
There's the booty and
girl.
there's the boobies and there's
Some
all of
people
it.
got
And
some
the waist.
dumps. I yeah, I can't
Yes.
relate, but
And so I was like, okay, this is going to have to be made to measure if I really, really want to try to make it as, moldable as possible to what people
right.
need for their bodies. Um,
I feel like that's
but the
understandable
problem,
though.
yeah, and the problem is I was so intimidated by made to measure patterns as a beginner because I
Hmm.
didn't understand the math and I didn't want to get it wrong. And in some cases, you have to make sure that your gauge is right, or you have to do math based on your gauge. So if you don't
Right.
know how to do a gauge swatch, then you're in trouble. And so this one, I am really trying, and I'm hoping it's a success. So fingers crossed.
It
Um,
will be.
but I tried to do the best of both worlds. So I tried to like, you have to still have to match my gauge. It's not one where it's like you can use any pattern in any hook because then they have to figure out the gauge and do more math.
Exactly.
And so I was like, you have to match my gauge. And then, you only take a couple of different measurements. And, that tells you which instructions to follow. So it's kind of like that choose your own adventure, which I found out is trademarked. Like you can't call something choose your own adventure. You'll get sued by the company.
Really? I mean, I read those books in elementary school, but that's a little like
Yeah, a little
you don't
much, a
you
little
gotta
much.
claim it.
And
Jeez.
and that's what's crazy. I know it's crazy. I wouldn't have known it. I wasn't going to call it that, but I mentioned the phrase in a Facebook group, and someone was like, "I hope you're not calling it that," because someone got reached out to with like
Cease and desist.
takedown, yeah, like a takedown notice by this company that owns this phrase.
Oh my
So
gosh. That would give
learn
me so
something
much
new.
anxiety. I'd be like,
Yeah,
what's coming for
that's the
me?
other thing. That's the other thing that we deal with is like, God forbid choose a name that you think is fine and you
Right?
get in trouble
Right.
for your
So
pattern.
yeah, so for my pattern I would I don't know, there's some baby names that I liked. It was while I was naming my children that I
Hmm.
was designing. There were baby names that I liked that my husband was like, not a chance. And so then I named my patterns those names.
That's
Because
actually
I
really
love
funny.
them so much. It made me, those are my children too, you know?
Yeah,
But
these are my,
yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
but there's so many things named like the aspen something or
Hmm.
like just, and then, yeah,
I'm like,
they
I've
could
never
like
even been to
just be
Aspen, so.
genuinely organic names that you come up with, even like
Mhm.
designs and stuff.
Yeah.
There's only so
Yeah.
many things.
Uh-huh.
I feel like
And
yeah, sorry.
Francis said that's one of my fears and held me back some.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And I feel very lucky that so far in my pattern designing experience, since I am someone who's trying to make, a full-time income out of this, I need all of the different,
Right, right.
aspects. Um, but that so far the community of testers and the feedback has made it worth it, even when I've had bad releases. I mean, I've had pattern releases where I'm like, I love this so much, and then I release it and I'm like, oh, I just sold one.
Yeah. And you're like, guys,
Maybe in a
did
couple
you hear
years
me say that it's
people
available
like
now?
it. Yeah, yeah.
It'll
Um,
come back around.
so it'll be interesting, and that is the beauty of it, that it is out there forever. So it's like,
Hmm.
you put in all the work, and then it's just kind of there forever. And when I'm like a 92-year-old grandma, I'm still making money off of.
Your cute little overalls.
Right.
Yes.
So, well, I would love to talk a little bit about your Reels experience, because this
Yes.
is something that a lot of people, I'm sure, are very interested in. And I think the biggest thing would be, to start out with, um, how did that start out for you when you were like, I'm going to start making Reels? Like, how did you decide on the, because there's tons of types of Reels, I mean, you can
Different
share Reels
niches.
trying to, lip sync where you're actually like saying the words of the trendy Reels, but there's other stuff too. So what did that look like when you were like, I'm gonna figure this out?
So I was coming in hot off TikTok, and
Okay.
at that time, the big thing was like tutorials. So my
Hmm.
very first one was like, make a dish scrubby with me. And it's just like trendy audio. And I'm like, do, 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 doing my
Hmm.
thing and then making dishes. And like, that was great.
Yeah.
I feel like it did pretty well, about the same as my pictures, like at the time.
Hmm.
So like, just like, I feel like I had the same 100 people that were like, hey,
Yeah.
we like what you do. And I'm like, thanks
Yeah.
guys, love you.
Good job. Hmm.
Exactly. So then after that, I don't know, it just got to where I was on Reels more rather than TikTok. And I was
Hmm.
scrolling through, and just based off of the things that I personally liked, I don't know, I guess tutorials as far as Reels, I don't normally learn from that. I'm more of a
Hmm.
reading to learn. So those weren't kind of my thing. So I guess I wasn't really liking those as much. So they weren't getting sent to me on my For
Hmm.
You feed
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so most of them were just like joking ones, because I
Hmm.
just like to laugh and have fun and be goofy, and I have a weird sense of humor. And so I would see a reel with audio that made me laugh, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could make that about crochet somehow. So then I would try to, I don't know, give a crocheter's take on that audio. How could I make it apply to a crochet situation? And
Hmm.
I was just trying to go the relatable route. Like, I'm sure other
Yes.
people have felt this way. And so then that seemed to do pretty well. And then from then on, that's just really what I focused on. I would find audio, I wouldn't find crochet reels that I liked. I would find other reels that I liked and turn it
Hmm.
into crochet. And
Yes.
then from there, I realized, and this is a huge one, if you're doing reels like not promoting a design or a
Hmm.
tutorial or teaching, and it's just for funsies, you can do any reel if you're holding crochet. So
Hmm.
then, like, it's just like you can make it whatever you want, and I'm
Yeah.
going to say what I want to say, but I'm holding this. And so, like, people who don't crochet are just
Relatable.
like, exactly. People who don't crochet are like, haha, that girl's silly. And then people who do are like, oh my gosh, that girl's crocheting. So, like,
Yeah.
my biggest reel by far, most popular reel, had I known it would have gone so viral, I would have made my hair better or like makeup. It was after school one day. Like most of my reels were made at the time. Both of my kids were in daycare. So I would go to school and then I had like a very short hour where they would both be at daycare. And so I would go home and film reels in that 1 hour and then go pick my kids up. And so this was in that 1 hour, and it was the, hey, I like your dress. And I'm like, thanks. It has pockets. But in my pockets was yarn and a hook. And so it just seemed like a girl with pockets, and then she pulled out some crazy grandma stuff out of her pockets. But then other people were like, hey, I know that grandma stuff. That's crochet. Oh my gosh. And so I think that reel has hit like 10 million views.
Gosh.
Like it reached people it should not have reached, like kind of hurt my feelings. I'm a sensitive Cancer person. You know what I mean? Like,
so like comments.
Right. Oh yeah, comments. People are like, oh my gosh, I thought she was pregnant. Everyone. I'm like, no, guys, that's just what a grown woman looks like, you know, that's had kids. Maybe I should have worn a tank top. My bad. See, if I knew, I would have like put on some Spanx or something. I don't know. Not touched my stomach for 3.4 seconds.
Right.
I don't know. Just people are like, oh, she's pregnant. Just touched my belly. I don't know.
So this is what celebrities feel like when the paparazzi's like, obviously, so-and-so is pregnant.
Exactly. They're like, she's pregnant. And no, guys, just had a burger today, I guess. But yeah. So from there, it just, I don't know. I just kept doing the nonsense ever since.
Yeah.
And I now have people who are following me who don't crochet. And that's really weird. So I get a lot of messages that are like, I don't crochet, but I love this. I think it's so funny. Or someone was like, you've inspired me. Not someone. A lot of people have said that I've inspired them to learn how to crochet or something. They're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about crochet. I need to start doing that. I'm like, yeah, YouTube, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to keep making my reels.
Exactly.
So I guess that's one of my questions that I think other people may have in their head too, of what is it about this that made you want to keep making reels? Because again, if is it just to share what you're working on and you feel like when you shared it with photographs, it was like, nah, but now I can like have it in my video, or like what was that driving force to keep, or do you just have fun with it? I mean, I think that's the,
yeah, I really just have fun with it. I had a friend ask me, and they were maybe not this blunt, but basically like, what's the point in making reels? Like, you don't sell anything, you don't have business, you're just a random elementary school teacher who does yarn. Like, what's the point? And I'm like, literally, I don't know. I don't have a point. I just being a goofball for funsies. And I don't know. Everyone likes the dopamine of a good like here and there, but I don't know. I just really like it. I don't know. I feel like I'm reaching that hidden audience of crocheters who don't want that to be their job and it's just a hobby. Because I feel like all the popular crochet accounts are people who like have put the work in and are like amazing like crocheters and business people and so successful. And then there's people who are like rooting for them but not wanting that for themselves, if that makes sense. And that's okay. That doesn't make you any less of a crocheter or any less of a hustler or whatever. But so I don't know, there's not really a point, just for funsies, I guess.
Yeah. And so for people who want to make more reels, and maybe even one, so like I usually have fun with my reels, but it's hard for me to find the time to like find the inspiration to make them, because you want to use like trending audio, and like if your point is like this should still be good, I still want this to be, a good reel and perform well.
Right.
Where do you get your inspiration, and do you have a like a process? Do you save reels? Do you just save audio? Like, what does that look like to keep you, so you don't just like run out of ideas, or maybe you just don't run out of ideas?
Right. So I have two Instagram pages. I have my personal Instagram page and I have my Two Arrows Handmade. And
Hmm.
I message myself like crazy. So it's interesting to be on my Two Arrows crochet page and not crochet, it changed. It's handmade, Two Arrows Handmade. And sorry, I changed the name. And scrolling through my reels, those are way different than the reels I get fed as just
Oh yeah.
a not crochet person, just a random
Hmm.
mom. You know what I mean? And so I do look for trending audio, but mostly I just pick an account and scroll through, and I don't look at people I follow because I don't know, it feels a little too close to home, if that makes sense. I want to reach something new. And
Hmm.
so I just scroll through random things and I'm like, oh my gosh, I like that one. And so I will send it to my other account. I'll send it to
Hmm.
myself on my personal account or that account. So I just have a long feed of
Yeah.
videos to myself. And so
Yeah.
then when I'm like, I need to make a reel, it's been a hot second. People are gonna forget who I am. I don't know, think something's wrong. So I go through and I pick one and I'm like, yep, that's the one. And I just double
Mhm.
tap it. That means I've used this one. It's hearted. And I just use that one.
Ah,
So I've
that's
got
smart.
a like log of sounds. And it's interesting. I've been making reels long enough. I sound like a grandma. I've been making reels the whole time for a whole
Yeah.
year. And the trending sounds are like coming back.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I feel like a trending sound would come up last year and I was a little late to it and I like thought of an idea too late and I'm like, but it's irrelevant now. But now it's
Yeah.
coming back. I'm like, I could use that one now.
That's
You know
awesome.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you batch your reels or do you make them in the moment? Do you try to make multiples at the same time and just save them? Or do you feel like it's easier to just go with it, go with the flow?
So me as a person, and this might be why I wasn't really great at like sitting down and writing patterns and doing the grunt work because
Hmm.
I go through phases. I don't know. I'm like, I took a personality test and one of them said that I was, what's the, I don't know. Um, I'm thinking of the word.
You could take your time.
Not spontaneous. It's like not a
Uh-huh.
good thing, but it's where I don't do the same thing all the time. Like, not
Uh-huh.
unreliable, but I like to switch it up. And sometimes
Yeah.
I get in a mood where I'm like, oh, I've got so many ideas for reels. And I like don't change my outfit. So you can totally tell when I batch reels, I'm wearing the same outfit 4 reels in a row. But then usually I'm not that like
Yeah.
plan ahead. I'm like, oh, I've got 30 minutes. I could do one real quick. Or
Yeah.
I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm an introvert. So it takes me some time to build it up. And I'm like, I'm feeling crazy. I'm just going to do it real quick. And so usually I post it, I like record it and post it like within seconds of each
Yeah.
other, like
Yeah.
long enough to not even
We're
think
just gonna
about it.
do
I'm
it.
like, this is probably
Yeah.
dumb. Send.
Yeah.
Yep. Hope it works out okay.
And
But
10 million views.
no. Usually it's like, oh, I thought that one was funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no one thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't
So what,
delete them. I learned that.
that's good. Yeah. And what was
That's
this?
my mom. She's made reels
She's made,
before reels
yeah,
to reels. She's always been a
always been
dope.
a good.
I'm an
Yeah.
only child, so I like to be center stage of my parents' lives. So they watched every dance,
Yeah.
skit, movie. I'm like, watch me. They're like,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't really give them a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it is now. I mean, and I think you made a comment when we were having our Zoom call, and just so everybody knows, I like to meet with people first, so we have some time to chat and get to know each other too. It makes it a little easier to just,
Yes.
go with the flow here. But um, you made a comment about how sometimes in real life, you feel like your humor doesn't always go over that well.
Right. I'm real
Um,
awkward.
and so Reels is the opportunity to be like, I don't really care. I'm going to put it out there because this is me, and there's no awkward silence. because
Yeah.
it's not in person.
If they think it's weird, they'll go on, and the people
Huh?
who are like, I relate to that.
She's my people.
That's my people. I feel like it's putting yourself out there without seeing rejection, whereas in a group full of people, you say one weird thing and everyone stares at you and you're going to think about it for the next 5 years. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, not going to talk.
So is this why in some ways it's good to be like an elementary school teacher? Because I feel like kids are a little more forgiving in that way of like, you're weird, but I like you.
Yeah. If I feel like randomly talking in a British accent for
Yeah.
the math lesson, they're into it. It
Yeah.
holds their attention. And I'm just like, I don't know.
That's pretty awesome.
I have a funny story. So I have like a best friend teaching partner. She's probably on here watching, and we combine a lot. So our classes will be with her class, and you can always tell which kids are in my class and which kids are in her class because I can't help it. I've got like ants in my pants or something. I'm always like tap dancing or just being goofy. And my kids, unfazed, just keep working. Yeah. And her kids are like, that teacher is not an adult. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that one's weird. And so, my kids get used to it. And then we just have fun all the time. Almost, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what's your advice on, and this is totally a personal question. Yeah. Because I just totally, completely suck at trying to match like my fake audio with like the audio on the, the reels. How have you gotten so good at that?
At like lip syncing?
Yeah.
I listen to the audio an embarrassingly amount. That's not a good word. A lot of times before I even try to like record it at all. So if you press the timer where it like you set your timer, if you just like press timer and you don't adjust anything, it just keeps replaying the audio over and over and over and over. And so I'll have my headphones in, and when I get in these weird whims to film I can't talk. Film a reel. I'm from Missouri. And I'm never ready. I'm always in my pajamas. So I have the time to get ready and listen to it. So I listen to it quite a few times, and then I'll like try to in the mirror like, and like it takes me a few times, but then by the time I film it, it's just timing it with the audio. And the trick is, I'm sure everyone knows this trick, but for whatever reason, Instagram cuts off the first couple seconds of audio whenever you're using the timer. So you got to start talking when it says 3 before it even says it's recording. Start the beginning, and then it'll sync up.
Okay. That's good to know.
If you do any talking reels, I don't think you really do that many.
No, and that's why, because I feel like it always gets screwed up. And the only time I've done anything that's kind of lip synced, usually I'll listen to it and I'll just try to film it natively in my camera first, so it won't even be going. I just have to like have it in my head and hope that it's right. Right. Because I feel like every time I filmed it in Instagram, something screws up. So either the audio shifts or the text is screwed up, or it flips my video upside down. I've seen that happening a lot.
It's high stakes every time, because it will not tell you, and the app will close down, and it will not save it. It's like, oh, you're making a reel? Weird. Try again. Yeah. So I'm like, cool. So I save it as a draft. Save it immediately as a draft before I even like add text. But even the drafts, sometimes the drafts, I'll click on a draft and it's like something went wrong. I'm like, yeah, your face. Yeah, you went wrong, dude. Yeah. You owe me a reel. Yeah, it's like, I don't understand why you guys want us to make reels so bad, and then you always screw them up. Right. It's like, we really want you to do this, but like, good luck. We're going to make it really hard for you. Make it a little bit of a challenge for you. Well, at least it like keeps it spicy. Right. Yeah. So then when I watch back my reels, if I'm off at all, I'm like, nope. Done. Do it again. So it's quite a few tries. So when you said you don't delete your reels, do you archive them if it posts and it's screwed up?
Because I mean, that happens to me where everything looks cool in the draft and I go to post it and it's like,
Right. Yes. So if it does like completely screw up or mess up, or it's early enough and I misspelled the word and I can't live my life knowing that I misspelled that word wrong as a teacher, like super high stakes, I'll
right.
delete it. I'm like, not worth it. I'll
Yeah.
delete it.
Yeah.
But then if I post one and then after like a few days it didn't perform as well, I'll leave those. Maybe if
Yeah.
it's like not great, I'll archive it. But
Yeah.
archiving is scary too, because one time I accidentally archived a video and there's no way to put it back up on your feed. Once it's gone, like it's not deleted, but people will have to physically go to your reels to see them. You can't just like
Yeah.
sling it back on, because
Okay.
I did one
That's
on
good to know.
accident. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Um, so we have a few more minutes, so we're gonna
Yeah,
like quick fire some fun crochet questions while we have
cool.
time left. So what is your favorite type of item to crochet?
I think probably like shirts or cardigans,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I really like when people are like, "Oh my gosh, did you make that?" And I'm like, I did.
Yeah.
But I'm also starting to really like the amigurumi
Mm-hmm.
things. This one looks like
Yeah,
a potato right now, but
I know.
he'll be a cute out. I'm a
He's super
potato.
cute. And do you wear your crocheted items a lot, like teaching and things like that? Is that something you?
I do, yes. I like to wear them. I've got I don't know, the kids always think it's really cool when I show them that I make it, and they're like, "Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's crazy." And
yeah.
some kids are like, "You're better than my grandma." Like that's an actual quote. And I'm like, "Don't tell your grandma that."
Yeah, my teacher's better than you.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, "Don't
Yeah.
bring me up."
So, what is your favorite type of yarn to work with?
I really like cotton yarn
Hmm.
because it makes me feel good that I could wash it if something goes wrong,
Hmm.
like hence wearing it around kindergartners and my own
Yeah.
children. But I really like yarn that feels good on your
Yeah.
hands. I'm not
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that I don't have a lot of like local yarn stores or like
Hmm.
expensive yarn, so I'm like
Yep.
a Walmart Joann's gal.
Hmm.
And yeah, I feel like Lion Brand yarn, those types of things, just kind of
Hmm.
whatever you can get commercially. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite cotton yarn? Because I do feel like, there's some cotton that doesn't feel very good. Do you have
Right.
favorite cottons that you go to?
Right. So Hobby Lobby has a really soft yarn. I love this cotton. That's really
Hmm.
nice for like clothing and such, but when it comes to like amigurumi, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily need to be super soft.
Hmm.
And I noticed, here's a little secret.
Hmm.
These little peaches and cream things
Hmm.
at Joann's, this is like probably like $3 or something, but at
Hmm.
Walmart it's $1.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah.
always, maybe that's not a secret, but
Mhm.
if it's like something little tiny like that, I'll just go to Walmart and get it really quick. But if it's
Yes.
something that I want to wear, I love this cotton, and I feel like there's another cotton yarn that's really soft too.
Hmm.
I don't know what it's called. I think probably Lion Brand something.
Yeah, I think they like a cotton blend maybe or something that's really soft that
Yes.
they have at Walmart. And I used to always go to Walmart because I used to make these little things. Grab one.
Some cotton yarns though, you have to be careful because they're not like worsted weight, so then it's like takes up so much yarn to get
Hmm.
anywhere with clothes.
Those little guys.
Yes. I
So
love
these were like
those.
my best seller at Crash's, and it
Exactly.
I would hold two strands of the sugar and cream together to make them. And
Yeah,
so like I would like buy Walmart out. I'm like, oh, you've got orange, I need orange cats and black cats
exactly.
and
That's what I do.
so
You're
much
just like
cheaper.
picking up milk, eggs, 15 skeins of yarn, keep
Hmm.
going. It's fine. It's just a normal
Hmm.
trip.
Yeah. And so let's see. Favorite hook size, go-to hook size.
5.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mostly
Okay.
because that's my Harry Potter hook. I
Okay.
got a hook
Hmm.
from Harper baby hooks, and it has Harry Potter on the top. I'm a Harry Potter nerd. I'm a Hufflepuff. You could probably tell that.
I am too, and I didn't call it until I had to take the test. But
Really?
yes.
I feel like I just every personality test, there's a color personality. I'm the yellow, sunshiny, have funny, not think about your worries type of person. Yeah, that'd be me.
Feel you there.
Just
Yeah.
bottle those up, save them for your house in the pillow. Yeah, it's not healthy, but that's what we do. Unite.
So let's see. What's your favorite thing to listen to or watch when you're crocheting?
YouTube videos. Mostly like podcasts.
Yeah.
I like the occasional commentary because I love a good drama when I'm not involved. But mostly like true crime. How some serial killer slash somebody. That was very, very, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep. She teaches kindergarten. That's scary.
There's a lot of true crime lovers in the crochet community.
My dad is a retired police officer, so I kind of feel like I've always been interested and equally terrified of that at the same time. I just need to know. I'm the type of person that needs to prepare for everything. I just need to know if I happen to be on a highway in the middle of nowhere, I know what not to do now, you know?
Yeah, that's extremely helpful.
I'll just definitely not get in the car with a random person.
And you kind of went over this, but your favorite places to buy yarn. So you really have like the big box stores where you are. Is there anywhere online that you like to purchase? Do you like to purchase yarn online? Like, what does that look like for you?
See, I don't really purchase yarn online a whole lot. I've done a few of like the mystery boxes or something. But I follow so many like indie yarn dyers on Instagram and stuff, but liking to make clothing like I do, it requires like 5-6 skeins of $30 yarn. I'm an elementary school teacher with 2 children. You know what I mean? Maybe when I'm retired, I'll splurge.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could totally splurge, but there's just too many other areas that I like to spend my free money at the time. It burns a hole in my pocket. You know what I mean?
And I'm the type of person who I mean, obviously, even since the high phases of the pandemic and COVID and all of that, I like to be in person. Like, I like to go touch things. And like, when I'm shopping, like clothes, forget about it. Not doing it online. Like, I need to try it on. I need to make sure that it fits and that it feels good. And so I think, you know, for me, I don't usually order new yarn online. So like, I would want to be able to know what I'm getting and know what it feels like and know that they're not lying to me when they say that it's a size 6.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. For real.
And I think that's all of my questions, but let's see, coffee or tea? That's a big one.
Coffee.
Or none.
Tea. It just tastes like leafy water, which literally is what it is. I don't know, it just feels a little too like grass for me.
I think it was Emma of What the Hook Creations who says it's like they forgot to put the flavor in.
Right. It's like the LaCroix of coffee will punch you right in the tongue, like put some hair on your chest in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I've got a little coffee room, get a whole little handful of whole bean coffee. Like that's some dark coffee I like.
And it's an experience for you then. So you buy the whole bean, you grind it,
I've got a little French press.
Oh,
like I'm way too fancy for my own good. I drink like it's not that fancy, but yeah, it just feels good. And I got one of those giant things. Like
is it like a Yeti? Like the 32-ounce Yeti?
I drink a Yeti of coffee at school, and it stays to lunch. So.
And do you put anything in your coffee, or is it like 32 ounces of black coffee?
Oh, did I make myself sound like so intense? No, there is a ton of creamer, a ton of sugar. Like it's like a candy factory in there. Like if the caffeine doesn't get me going, the sugar will. Like
Do you watch The Office at all?
Yes, I've seen every episode.
So we finally bought the DVDs when Netflix took it off of Netflix because I was like, this has to be in my life whenever I want it.
exactly.
And I always think of the Michael Scott when they get up early and she's like, "Do you have any coffee?" And he hands her the coffee and he says, "Milk and sugar," and it's just milk and sugar. There's no coffee.
Yep, that's me. Yep.
Just a little bit of coffee, a little coffee,
Exactly. And my
a
girls,
shot of espresso.
yeah, my daughters love coffee too. So when I make
Yeah,
myself coffee, I make them like a little bit of coffee in their milk and they're
yeah,
like all fancy drinking their
yeah.
coffee. But it's just our little time. We're coffee people. If
And
I
how old are
do,
your kids
I
now?
have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh,
So
yeah. So you're right there
busy.
in it.
Yeah, I'm like still in the grunt work.
Do you want more kids or are you
I'm good to
you
go. Yeah, I am an only child. I am an
uh-huh.
introvert. Like,
Yeah.
I love my children with my whole heart, but I also get like overstimulated by them, if that makes sense. Like, I just need some quiet alone time. And I'm afraid the more children you have, the less alone time you're going to have because one of them will find you. You know what I mean? Not that I hide from my kids, I promise. I'm a good mom. But
Yeah.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
and kindergarten teachers. So I mean, like you leave your kids to go hang out with other kids.
Right.
So it's
I'm like literally parenting all day. I don't parent them, but yeah, I'm like taking care of kids, listening to kids. Yeah, having fun all day long. So I
yeah,
definitely need that quiet crochet time at the end of the day. After bedtime, I'm just like in my zone.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that is, I think we're probably over time because that was like super easy to chat with you. We're over by 7 minutes, but that's cool.
Oopsies.
So I think that we'll probably have to have you come back on again because that was like super
Absolutely.
easy to chat. And I feel like at this point um, I'm to the point where I've started kind of like scheduling people to come back on. So I'm like, it was really easy to
Yeah,
talk to you for a whole hour.
let's do
Um,
it.
but I'm so thankful that you came on and made the time, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to stalk your reels and find ideas for me too, and take some of your
Perfect.
advice.
Sorry, there was a fly. I felt so
Yes,
honored when you asked me. I was like, me? Are you sure?
yeah,
Me?
of
I was
course.
like,
Yes,
felt so,
yes.
thank you,
So
honored.
go check out Jaylee's reels and get yourself some inspiration, and go give her a follow and show her some love. And
Yes.
I think that's everything for now. Oh, and Love Stitches All, Diana's on here. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Um, And in case you guys missed this, if you joined in late, you'll be able to rewatch it here on my feed. I will post it to my feed pretty much immediately. And then we will have, it's on my YouTube channel too. So I do have a YouTube channel. There's an entire playlist dedicated to these interviews. So if you want to go make some new fiber friends, check out some other people in the community, you can do that as well. And this will probably be live in the next couple hours.
One
So
more thing.
yes,
Fran asked a while ago if I met Coco Lee Crochet.
yes.
Lee, yes, I did. She's
And
incredible. She's awesome.
she's wonderful. She's so sweet.
She's so like incredible. Yeah. I was just like sitting there overwhelmed by like 50 people, just like awkwardly, no idea what my face. I can't control this. I already
Yeah.
have forehead wrinkles because I can't
Mm-hmm.
not do
Yeah.
this. And so I'm just like, who knows what my face looks like. And she's just like, I love you. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I look uncomfortable. She needs to
Yeah.
comfort me. But she was so sweet.
I have to say, I feel like the forehead wrinkles I mean, I couldn't imagine the things you see as a kindergarten teacher, though, as for real,
Oh
or
my
here.
gosh. Oh
So, I
my gosh.
mean,
I get all the hot gossip. All
and
I'm
you don't
saying,
have to hide them. You don't have to hide the
exactly.
expressions from
The
kindergartners.
surprise, because yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Hmm. All parents of kindergarten people, be careful. I know all of your secrets. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, kids tell you everything. We had
Yeah.
broccoli
No
last
filter.
night. My dad didn't put on deodorant, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, thank
Yeah.
you. I love knowing that.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's what we'll do. I'm going to have you start recording that, and we're just going to come on and talk for an hour about the things that you hear in here.
I'll just keep a notebook. I have stories
Yes.
for a lifetime. Like, kids are incredible.
Well, we'll definitely have you back on. We'll reach out. We'll be in touch. Um,
Absolutely.
But thank you so much to everyone who joined in today and who is still here, even though I'm being overtime. And you know, if you're at work, you should probably get back to work.
Take a long break. Who knows?
But it's Friday. It's Friday, so you know you should probably just take off work for the rest of the day and go home. And it'll have to be next summer. So we have plenty of time. You'll have a whole school year to get your stuff together. And then next summer, I'm going to have you back on because then you'll be free on Fridays again.
Exactly. I'll give you feedback of kindergarten because I taught second grade for 8 years. So this is my first year kindergarten. It's a whole new ball game.
Oh.
I'm nervous.
Yes. We will need a recap and a debrief.
Deal.
All right, guys. Well, we'll talk soon. I can't wait to see you guys again. I will be live on YouTube on Tuesday, and I'll be back next Friday with Ashley from Universal Yarn. So she is, what is her name? Before I go, so you guys know. Not that, I mean, I'm going to announce it later, but at Yarn to Stitches. So she works for Universal Yarn. And she's going to be coming on to chat next Friday. So mark your calendars, and we'll see you again on Friday. So have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Jaylee.
Bye.